I was 12 years Army, and when I got out, I was looking for a fitness activity that did not involve push-ups and sit-ups. And I owned some swords at the time, and so I thought that sword fighting would be a fun, fit activity. And about that time, we went down to a Comic-Con in Dallas, and my wife bought me and my son our very first Sabers from a vendor that we found there. And I was looking online to see if there were any other Saber owners or communities or get-togethers, and we found the Saber Legion that was fairly new at the time. I think it was only 4 to 6 months old, and so we started there in Oklahoma, and we've been with it ever since. I was asking a lot of questions. When's our next meet? What armor should we be wearing? What this, what that? And it caused the owners to take notice of me, and they're like, okay, well, if you're gonna be asking all these questions, then do something with it. Make a meet, you know. And all of a sudden I was a charter rep. I didn't even really realize it.
The Saber Legion is a international saber combat organization. We basically fight one another with custom LED sabers. This all started over 3 years ago in my backyard, and that came about with both myself and Josh Lynn and the other co-founder. And we wanted to develop a system that would be safe and responsible for fighting. And so from there, we just kind of built all of this to what TSL is now, with over 40 charters, with over 6,000 members worldwide.
With all of our charters together, we all fight under the same rule set. We're standardizing what our charter reps are supposed to do. So we're all under the same rule set. We all have the same expectations for what annual tournament's going to look like, for what a duel looks like, for what an exotics duel looks like. So we all have that common thread, but each individual charter has its own personality, its own culture.
Being a part of the Saber Legion for me it's just a lot of fun. It's a really good workout, and it's just a lot of community. All the people that I get to meet, and the fact that I get to live out most people's childhood dreams of, you know, fighting with a lightsaber. It's fun.
We have a common bond by our love of Star Wars. And then at the same time, it's a combat sport. Combat sports, there's a lot of camaraderie in the combat sports. So when we have those two bonds, people tend to be very attracted to each other's personality and want to interact with each other and want to fight with each other, because you want to see different forms, different styles of fighting, so you can improve as a fighter. A lot of big men think it's all about, sword fighting is all about bashing through a defense, but that's not necessarily true. And it really comes into play with women, because they tend to have a little more finesse with their sword play. Seeing them fight and comparing it to how some of the men fight, I think everybody benefits, because sword fighting is not about just bashing through your opponent's defense.
I really think it's about having an open mind and embracing, what is it that you're good at? Learn from everybody. Maybe the kendo style works for you, maybe HEMA works for you, maybe my style of I've done yoga and have no background, so my style is similar to video game button mashing. Do what works for you.
In our organization, we take all the high-ranked fighters, and then we put them up against each other at events all throughout the U.S.
The difference between a championship series match and a regular match is the championship series has its own belt. Best of 3 rounds, 5-minute rounds up to 10 points, whatever comes first, and it gets ranked.
Our championship series is typically established fighters that have been in the local charters and in the national charter for a while. And they're recognized by the national charter as good fighters, people who are safe in their fighting and people who eschew all of the tenets of TSL. As such, championship fights have a little more leeway in what they do, and they're more intensive.
Championship series is really fight night. It's bringing back that old school feel of what Friday night fight night used to be.
When new members come to our meets, they can come from one of a lot of different areas. We sit at a crossroads between geek and science fiction, fitness, martial arts, and sport. And so they could be coming from any one or any combination of those directions. You've got a new fighter, you've just put the mask on them, you've just put loner armor on them, they've got a saber in their hand, they've tried out how hard they're going to hit against you, and then I take the saber from them and I say, it's going to feel like this. And I pop them in the face. And I watch their facial expression through the mask. And it goes from shock and immediate adrenaline, fight or flight, to, oh my goodness, that was amazing, to, oh, I'm not going to let that happen again, it's on now. And through like 10 emotions, all like that, all in the space of a heartbeat, and watch it, and they raise up and they bow up, and now they're ready to fight. That is my favorite moment in all of TSL. It's not advice that I give to new fighters. It's that precisely.
To be in the Saber Legion with my husband, it's a wonderful uniting thing. Together we are so much stronger. It just helps us have more fun together and to have another thing that we can enjoy together. It just becomes this huge community full of people who all support each other. And it just feels natural to bring in our children because they're part of that love too. So they look up and they don't just see, mom and dad in like traditional roles. They see warriors, they see fighters, they see people who have fun with friends and do this common activity and build on relationships together.
What I like the most about Saber Legion, I would have to say the camaraderie, the friendship. These people, it's fun, it's jokes, but it's also people are there for you. Someone will stop a fight and go, okay, try this defense instead, try this strike, or you saw me in the middle, like, here's my blade, why don't you give that a shot, give yourself some reach. Everyone is there for each other. It's like an extended family.
As an introvert, I don't need 100 friends, but I know no matter where I go, no matter how introverted or shy I may be, there's an instant bond that you have with anybody in any single charter because we are united through Sabers.
Having been a part of the Saber Legion for the past 2 years has changed me completely as a person. It brought me out of my shell a lot. It made me a lot more extroverted of an introvert, if that makes any sense.
It doesn't matter how much experience you have. It doesn't matter how good a swordsman you are. What matters is this is an incredible event where we come together. We're meeting people and being social with people and making friends with people that you only know from Facebook. Whether you win or lose, there's absolutely nothing like walking out there for your first fight. The adrenaline is off the charts. You're amped up, you're keyed up, you're gonna fight better than you ever thought you could. You're gonna use moves that you didn't even realize you had learned. It's not about the ranking, it's not about the winning, that's nice, but it's really about having a good time and making a fun event for the audience.
The whole idea was to be able to duel each other safely, and we just wanted to share that with everybody else because I think there needs to be a certain level of awareness with this sport. And I don't think anyone ever really thought that it would grow this big and this quick. A lot has happened. I've met a lot of people, and it's continually just mind blowing to me that we're everywhere and we can travel the world and in the name of saber combat.
We would love to have you. You don't have to have any sabers or gear or classical training or sword training of any kind to join. We have that to loan you. We will teach you all that you need to know about basic combat. You will not believe how fun it is until you come out and try it. And we're ready to put a saber in your hand and put a mask on your face. And you need to give it a shot, and you're going to love it.